how do you get strangers to actually want your stuff? I mean, seriously, it's the biggest question in business, isn't it? Not just getting them to buy it, but making them genuinely want it, to the point where they seek you out. What if there was a repeatable formula for that?
Dear book lovers, welcome to another high-speed book summary episode of Summarypedia. We are here to bring you more titles in less time.
In this episode, we are going to explore the important and highly practical lessons from the book 100M Leads by Alex Hormozi. So let's get right into his masterclass on lead generation.
Okay, here's what we've got on tap. First, we're going to define the real goal here. Then we'll break down the core 4 methods you can use, like right now. After that, we'll talk about how to scale this whole thing up. We'll also do a quick dive into who Alex Hormozi is, the guy behind it all. And we'll wrap it up with a super quick, actionable recap. Sound good? Let's go.
All right, first things first, let's define the actual goal. Because Hormozi kicks things off by pointing out a massive mistake almost everyone makes. See, it's not really about just getting leads.
So here's the huge distinction. A lead, well, that's just contact info. It's a name on a list, right? But that's not the prize. The real goal, the thing we're all after, is an engaged lead. This is someone who actually shows interest. They raise their hand and say, hey, I'm curious. And getting more of those people, well, that's the whole point of advertising.
So how do you get them to raise their hand? You use what Hormozi calls a lead magnet, and his definition is just perfect. It's a complete fix for one super specific, narrow problem. But here's the brilliant part. Once you solve that little problem for them, it automatically uncovers a bigger problem, one that your main offer just so happens to solve. Hormozi has this amazing analogy for it. He says, think about the free salty pretzels at a bar. They solve your immediate small problem, right? You're a little hungry. But what happens after you eat them? You get thirsty. You create a new, bigger problem. And what's conveniently right there to solve it? The bar's main product, a drink. That's exactly how your lead magnet is supposed to work. Okay, now let's get into the nitty-gritty, the tactical toolkit. Hormozi basically boils down the entire universe of advertising into just 4 core methods. And man, does this make things simpler.
So here they are, the big 4. You've got warm outreach, that's talking to people you know. You've got posting free content for the whole world to see. Then there's cold outreach, which is reaching out to strangers. And finally, running paid ads. The thing is, you're pretty much always doing one of these 4 things, even if you don't call it that.
All right, let's break them down. Method 1, warm outreach. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's all about using the relationships you already have. We're talking friends, family, past clients, your followers on social media. It's the lowest hanging fruit for sure.
And he gives us a super simple framework so you don't sound all salesy and weird. It's called the ACA framework. First, acknowledge what they said, actually listen. Then give them a genuine compliment. And finally, ask a question to keep the conversation going. I mean, really, it's just about being a normal, interested person.
Okay, moving on to method number 2, posting free content. This is your long game. This is how you build a real audience and just generate tons of goodwill. The strategy is simple. You just give value and give more value and keep giving until people finally ask how they can work with you.
And for this, there's another killer formula. Hook, retain, reward. Super simple, but so powerful. First, you gotta hook their attention, like in the first 3 seconds. Then you retain it with some kind of valuable structure, a story, a numbered list, whatever. And finally, you reward them with a payoff that actually delivers on what you promised in the hook. Don't leave them hanging. All right, method 3, let's talk about cold outreach. Yeah, this is the one a lot of people are scared of. It's when you're proactively reaching out to total strangers, people who have no idea who you are and haven't asked to hear from you. But here's the secret. The whole goal is to make your cold message feel like a warm one. This is not about blasting out a generic template to thousands of people. No way. It's about doing your homework, finding a real, specific reason to reach out, and proving that you actually put in some effort.
And that brings us to the 4th and final method, the one that's infinitely scalable, running paid ads. This is pretty straightforward. You're paying platforms like Facebook or Google to put your message right in front of a very specific audience of strangers.
Now, Hormozi gives us a critical number to live by here. If you want your ads to actually be scalable, you have to aim for a 3-to-1 ratio. What does that mean?
It means for every single dollar you spend to get a customer, you need to make at least $3 back in profit over their lifetime. If you can't hit that 3-to-1, you're going to have a really hard time growing.
Okay, so let's say you've found something that's working with one of those 4 methods. The big question is, how do you scale it? How do you pour gas on the fire? Let's look at the growth strategy.
And guess what? Hormozi has another beautifully simple framework for this. It's called More, Better, New. Step 1, just do more of what's already working. It sounds obvious, but most people don't do it. Send more emails, post more videos. Step 2, get better at it. Improve your skills so you can do it better. And only after you've totally maxed those 2 out, then you look for somewhere new to try your strategy, like a different social media platform.
So you're probably wondering, who is this Alex Hormozi guy who came up with all these brilliant, simple frameworks? Let's take a quick look at the man behind the methods.
So Alex Hormozi is the founder of a company called Acquisition.com. And here's the key thing. He doesn't just give advice. He actually invests his own money into businesses and then uses his frameworks to help them scale. And get this, the models from this very book are the same ones he uses to help his companies average a 3.01 times profit increase in their first year. His whole mission is basically to make real-world business knowledge available to everyone, not just the elites.
Okay, that was a ton of information, I know. So let's lock it all in with a quick rapid-fire recap of the absolute most important takeaways from the book.
All right, here's what you really need to tattoo on your brain. Number 1, forget leads, focus on engaged leads. It's a game changer. 2, use lead magnets to solve a tiny problem to create a bigger demand for what you actually sell. 3, master the core 4 methods: warm outreach, content, cold outreach, and paid ads. 4, if you're running ads, you have to aim for that 3-to-1 or better profit-to-cost ratio. And finally, number 5, scale whatever's working with the More, Better, New framework. Simple as that.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more high-speed book summaries from Summarypedia.